So welcome once again. We have our class sessions this evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for the your exams that you have been doing for the past week. Hope you did well. Uh, Apart from that, we'll continue with our discussions. Before that, if there is anything that you want to communicate with me from your side, you are welcome. So I'll have like 2 to 3 minutes. So I'll be listening on you guys, anything that you want to communicate with me concerning our modules of entrepreneurships and innovations, as well as concerning your exams that you performed it last week. Welcome, guys, for anything. Okay, thank you. Well, so we'll continue with our discussions today, and so far we discussed the first two topic, and today we are going to discuss our third topic, which is about applications of entrepreneurship process. And this topic of applications of entrepreneurship process will cover 5 elements. The first one being the factors contributing to entrepreneurial spirit. The second, exploiting entrepreneurial opportunities. The third one, impact of entrepreneurs and economic development, innovations, and firm competitiveness. The fourth one's approach to business entry, and the last three, the fifth ones will be about the source of capital and operating finance for business for an entrepreneurs. So we'll start discussing the first topic, and I would like also to communicate that this will be my last topic. The third, when we are done with this, the 30 topics, my fellow will take over for the remaining 2 topics, that's the fourth and the fifth ones, right? Starting on the part of the factors contributing to entrepreneurial spirit. First of all, we have this word you talk about entrepreneurial spirit. What does it mean by the word entrepreneurial spirit? That means we're going to discuss a little bit about the meanings of entrepreneurial spirit. Basically, there's no a single definitions of the word entrepreneurial spirit. We don't have a single definitions. However, common aspects are found in various definitions. So we have those common aspects or common keywords from various definitions when we are talking about entrepreneurial spirit. Entrepreneurial spirit or entrepreneurships has 2 essential meanings that we can connect it with the word of entrepreneurial spirit. That means one part it talks about the creating, owning, and managing ventures. And the second part is talking about entrepreneurial behavior in capturing opportunity and dealing with risk. So when we talk about entrepreneurial spirit, we mean the combinations of those 2 meanings which are concerning on entrepreneurships. That entrepreneurial spirit, it can also mean the ways or the means of creating, owning, as well as managing a venture. But on the other side, we can also mean entrepreneurial behavior that a person should possess that should enable persons to capture opportunities and the dealings with various risks. And we have some sources that gives us kind of informations. So given these meanings, there is a spirit embedded in entrepreneurships. So within entrepreneurships, this is what you talk about, the spirit which is embedded there. That is, there's a spirit in creating, running, and maintaining ventures, as well as entrepreneurial spirit is an attitude and approach of actively seeking out change rather than waiting to adopt for change. That's an attitude that always drives someone to seek out change, to seek out the new ways of doing things and the likes, rather than waiting to adopt the changes and the likes. So accordingly, Entrepreneurial spirit also can be defined as a mindset that embraces critical questionings, innovations, service, and a continuous improvement. So we as human beings, we have that inner spirit that also drives us to perform our day-to-day activities or on our day-to-day objectives. So the spirit that when we talk about on the part of entrepreneurships, it can be a mindset that always embraces the critical questionings. So you find the situations, you try to question yourselves. So what's wrong? So what is right? And what can I do to improve these situations and the likes? The critical, it also means the mindset that embraces innovations. On how can you bring in new things? We discussed about the innovations, the last topics. So the mindset that can also embrace the service or the continuous improvement. That in every days you have to be better than the past days and the likes. So that's what we talk about the entrepreneurial spirit in general. So, in addition to that, entrepreneurial spirit also can be defined as a way of approaching situations where you feel empowered, motivated, and capable of taking things into your own hands. That's according to Young's and the Salah Sotons. So, the CEO and the founder of Flex Jobs. So, these persons talked a little bit defines as a way of approaching situations. Yeah. Well, Emmanuel, can you mute your mic, please?
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
So it's a way of approaching situations where you feel empowered, motivated, and capable of taking things into your own hands. It's about seeing the big picture and thinking like an owner. So we talk about entrepreneurial spirit. That's a way that a person can think a big picture and seeing a big picture and thinking like an owner of that pictures or an initiator of that situations and the likes. It's a being agile, responsible, active, never less things on your own success, shaking off the cloak of compromises or satisfactions and seeing out the new opportunity in the likes. It's also about taking ownerships and pride in your business ventures and the likes. So it's a part of someone's inherent personality or a set of skills developed over time. So this is spiritual entrepreneurial spirit. We talk them as those kind of skills that a person can inherit, that comes from the childhoods, that comes from the upbringings, the culture, the surroundings, and also they can be developed, the skills that can be developed over times. Tunaelewa kabisa katika jamii zetu, hata hapa darasani, we are so many here in the class, but we have those guys who are hard workers. Sio hard workers hapa. Hii kuna laser people as well, ambao yeye mpaka sukumwe deadlines mpaka ifike, hawezi kukamilisha kazi yake mpaka aone kwamba deadline is today and still anachelewa na atoi sababu and the likes and the things like that. Lakini kuna watu ambao always work on time. So tunapoangalia the spirit, entrepreneurial spirit, hapo tunasema ni emotional aspect zaidi, na ambayo inakuwa developed over time, inakuwa inherent and the likes. So kiangalia hata wajasiriamali, most entrepreneurs that we have in our society, in our community, wana differ in this kind of spirit and the likes and the likes. So if you have, do you have anyone who can comment on the entrepreneurial spirit, giving us some leading examples from the society that is surrounding us? Welcome, guys. Anyone? Hata kama yuko hapa darasani ana those entrepreneurial spirit, anaweza kushare na sisi. Do you have anyone?
See you, Doctor.
Yes, karibu Hashim.
I said, it's you, Doctor.
Do you have entrepreneurial spirit? Lil. Hashim. Asante. Hashim ana comment kwamba I have the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm not sure if I have those entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe, I'm not sure. So anyone is hatuna mwenye entrepreneurial spirit hapa darasani. You guys, kuna
Mimi
wajasiriamali
sina
ndani.
Doctor, a lot of
Yes.
entrepreneurial spirit, But from myself, basing on the definition, especially this by Michael Kell, I would like to mention, napendaga sana kutoa mfano wa Masudi Kipanya as entrepreneur. He's seeing the bigger picture, he's seeing in the future hatutategemea sana mafuta kwenye magari kutokana na hizi changamoto, so he's trying to innovate kitu ambacho in the future kitakuwa dependable kwa watu wenye kipato cha chini, kwa watu ambao wanatamani kuwa wawekezaji, ndio wanatengeneza hii KP cars hizi. Yeah, this is my idea.
How far the project has gone to now? Mna muda sijaisikia.
Yes, ameshatoa version ya kwanza KP1, ameshatoa KP2 ambazo KP2 zimeshaanza ziko up and running, lakini zinatengenezwa kwa order, lakini sasa hivi yuko anatoa version ya 3. Hii hapa anasema anatumia material ya carbon fiber badala ya mabati pembeni ili gari liwe jepesi, na current version inaweza kutembea hadi kilomita 150 kwa charge ya full charge ambayo ni charge na cost kwenye 3,000 hadi 5,000. I mean umeme wa shilingi 3,000 hadi 5,000 kuchaji gari kuweza kutembea kilomita 150 kwa
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's a breakthrough innovations. Okay, that's a breakthrough innovations. Well, another one. Okay, let's continue, guys. So tumeangalia this is how we talk about entrepreneurial spirit on the part of meaning and definition of entrepreneurial spirit. But in addition to that, it's how someone's produce something completely different from before with higher quality, cheaper, profitable results, and the likes and the likes and the likes. Tuko tuongelea kwenye part innovations. Niligusia kidogo the frugal innovations. About tuliangalia frugal innovations is always cheaper, availability in terms of, but not high quality. Quality is always comes downs in the likes. So tunapoangalia entrepreneurial spirit ni ile hali ya someone's to produce something which is completely different from the available product or service that will have higher value. It's a little bit cheaper, but also when we talk about quality with the cheap, it's a contradiction issues ambazo zinahitaji a lot of discussions, kwa sababu when we talk about quality cannot be cheap. Maybe we have to come with the other ideas, with the other concept. Lakini from the Grant and the Lance Fox 2007, these guys claimed that when you talk about entrepreneurial spirit, we means someone who can produce something completely different from before with high value, cheaper, and a profitable results. It can also be defined as a combination of entrepreneurial attitude as well as entrepreneurial activities in creating and managing business ventures. So that's on the part of meanings of entrepreneurial spirit. So next, let's discuss about the dimensions of entrepreneurial spirit. Basically, from the above definitions of entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial attitude are composed of the 3 factors when we talk about dimensions of entrepreneurial spirit, because we talked about entrepreneurial spirit as part of the entrepreneurial attitude as well as entrepreneurial activities. So entrepreneurial spirit can also be defined in other ways as entrepreneurial attitude. So, and from the definitions of from the work of Paltans as well as his fellows in 2017, they claim that entrepreneurial spirit is defined in terms of entrepreneurial attitude, which comprises of 3 basic factors. The first factors are social values. Social value here means perceptions towards entrepreneurial careers in the community, media exposure of entrepreneurs as well as social status of being an entrepreneur. So when we talk about kama part ya dimension entrepreneurial spirit, tunaangalia kwanza kwenye hizo entrepreneurial attitude za mjasiriamali, ambazo hizo attitude tumezigawa katika makundi matatu. Kundi la kwanza tumeangalia ni social value. The second one is yes.
May I ask?
Yes, welcome.
Okay. Does the entrepreneurial spirit can be the one among the factors affecting the performance of an entrepreneur?
Come again?
Does the entrepreneurial spirit concept can be one among the factors affecting the performance of an entrepreneur?
When we talk about performance, it depends on which performance are you talking about. Some performance, tuna financial performance, right? Tuna non-financial performance. Unapoangalia financial performance,
basically financial performance.
yes, financial performance,
Yes, of the venture,
which is always measured by financial metrics like return on investment, profitability, and the likes, and so forth and so forth. So entrepreneurial spirit in other ways can have a direct impact on a financial performance of any business ventures. So kwa sababu tunaangalia
Excuse me,
spirit ya
doctor.
business. Yes.
I see you have zoomed so much. Maybe you can reduce so that you can focus on.
Do you see what?
You have Zoom. I don't know if it's my laptop or the Zoom is high. I cannot see other words.
No, everything's
My
okay.
laptop.
We are
Everything is okay.
Your laptop.
It is your laptop problem, not the doctor's.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Continue, doctor.
Okay, thank you, guys. So I was just trying to respond to the questions from your fellow that the guy asked on entrepreneurial spirit, impact of entrepreneurial spirit towards the financial performance. Yes, entrepreneurial spirit can have a direct impact on the financial performance of firms, because it's always about on how can you come with something new, something that is going to fulfill customer needs and wants. But not only entrepreneurial spirit alone. So there are other factors as well that should be going together with entrepreneurial spirit in order to influence the financial performance. Factor nyingi sana zikiwepo za context of factors, mazingira pia yanasababisha, and other factors. So in short, entrepreneurial spirit, yes, it's one of the factors that can have impact on our financial performance of firms. Right. So tuendelee. On this side, tumongelea entrepreneurial attitude, which is composed into three main factors. One of which are social values. And these social values, we mean those perceptions towards entrepreneurial careers in the community. Na hii ina impact kubwa sana katika create entrepreneurial spirit within a persons. So how does the community perceive entrepreneurial as a careers? How does the community perceive entrepreneurships as a careers? So tukiangalia katika nchi zetu sisi in African context where we are much more attached to the community of society, kuna changamoto kubwa sana kwa sababu whenever you are raising your kids, sending your kids to schools, what you're expecting ataenda kuwa katika salary employees, whether wage or salary, hapo tunasema kwamba ni wage employed or salary employees. So ni jamii chache sana ambazo zinaweza kuperceive kwamba entrepreneurships as a career, kwamba human beings you can take entrepreneurship as a career rather than to be employed by someone. So hiyo ina impact kubwa sana katika kudevelop this what we talk about entrepreneurial spirit. That's one of it. But tukiangalia hiyo ni part ya community, lakini on the other part we can also discuss on the part of media exposure for entrepreneurs, how the media talks about these issues of entrepreneurship and whatever, how the media are much more familiar or are much more related on the entrepreneurial concept in general. And lastly, we talk about the social status of being entrepreneurs. So how the society will perceive someone being entrepreneur and someone who is not entrepreneurial. So all those factors, they have a very big impact on influencing the entrepreneurial spirit of a person. Second, we talk about personal attribute. The personal attribute here relates to people capabilities, willingness to take risk, perceive the opportunity, and the presence of role model. So hapa tunaangalia personal attribute. Tunaangalia those attributes related to people's capability, uwezo wa ndani wa mtu mwenyewe, willingness yake, utayari wake wa kuteke risk, perceive the opportunity. How do you perceive those opportunity? Unazionaje hizo fursa zilizopo kule? Unakuwa na mtazamo gani katika fursa ambazo unaziona? Kuna mwingine fursa anaiona ni kitu cha kawaida, ni changamoto na whatever. Lakini mwingine anaweza kuona kwamba hizo fursa zinazotokea as part of just as an opportunity, lakini others can think those fursa zinazotokea kwamba ni changamoto ambazo anaweza kuzitumia kuweza utilize them and benefit from them. Lakini the third ones we talk about goal orientations. These involves people level for aspirations towards the economic impact of entrepreneurships to the society through job creations, income generations, internalizations, and competitiveness. So tukiangalia goal orientations kwamba how a person's orientation yake ya kutimiza kwamba anataka kutimiza nini katika maisha yake au katika career yake. Tunakuwa katika mazingira tofauti na kila individual personals anakuwa na malengo yake tofauti katika maisha. So inawezekana kuna mtu alianza kama salaried employees, alikuwa ameajiriwa, lakini baadaye akaangalia ile kazi haiwezi kutimiza kile kitu ambacho anakikusudia katika maisha yake, and then akachange careers, akaingia kwenye ujasiriamali. It's where anaona kwamba I can achieve some things that's in my life, whichever the case. These are saying kwamba there's no billionaires who is employed. Is that true?
It's
perspective always encompass cognitive element, psychological element, social and the contextual factors that always shape individuals' identity, how individuals identify opportunities, take risky and innovate. So tukiangalia wajasiriamali wote wanatofautiana on how they identify opportunities, on how they take risk, and on how they innovate. And this is much more affected by those perspectives on the part of cognitives, psychological, social, and the contextual factors. So let's discuss first on the cognitive perspectives. This perspective highlights how entrepreneurs think different from one entrepreneurs. How we think different. Tuna mawazo tofauti. Thinking ability yetu inatofautiana. One person hawezi kufikiria sawa na mwenzake to the same kind of opportunity, to the same kind of challenge, to the same kind of situations. Wana think different. Ndio maana wanakuja na solutions zinatofautiana. They oftenly possess a unique cognitive framework that enable them to recognize opportunities, tolerate ambiguity, and they make decisions under uncertainties. And those kind of decisions are totally different from one individuals to the other individuals. So, for instance, they tend to engage in effectual reasonings that they focus on leveraging available means to achieve emerging goals rather than relying solely on predictive logic. So wanaangalia zile means zilizopo kuweza kuachieve to a certain goals. Kwamba tuna nini in terms of resources ambazo wanazo kwenye hands or the contextual factors zinazowazunguka so that they can achieve the goals or they can bring the solutions whatever. So hapa tunaongelea cognitive factors ambayo inaongelea how entrepreneurs differ in terms of their thinking abilities. One entrepreneur cannot think similar to the other entrepreneurs and the likes. So the second ones, we talk about the psychological trait perspectives. Entrepreneurs are often characterized by certain psychological trait. Na tulipokuwa tunaongelea entrepreneurial theories, tuliongelea zaidi hii ya psychological theories. So they are always characterized by certain psychological trait, such as needs for achievement, internal locus of control, risk-taking prosperity, and the tolerance for ambiguity. Hii kwa zaidi tulipokuwa tunaongelea psychological trait perspectives. So this trait always influence their motivations and the persistence in order to pursue ventures even in the face of adversity. Na tuliangalia kwamba kuna ambao wana high needs for achievement, they always goes to undertake entrepreneurial activities. And when we talk about the locus of control, we have the internal locus of control and we have the external locus of control. And we talked about the risk-taking prosperity. So we have those who are risk takers and we have those who are risk averse and the likes, and the tolerance for ambiguity. Kuna ambao wanavumilia, ameshindwa, anajaribu tena, ameshindwa, anajaribu tena. Kuna mwingine ameshindwa mara ya kwanza, hata jaribu tena. So that's the end of it. So persons differs, individuals differs on those aspects. Ndio maana tunapoangalia entrepreneurial perspectives in individuals, tunamwangalia pia katika part ya psychological trait perspectives, a part ya cognitive perspectives. So the third ones are those social and the cultural perspectives. Kashan Mloe, well, social and the cultural perspectives. Entrepreneurial behavior is also shaped by social and the cultural context. Na hii pia tulidiscuss zaidi when we are discussing the sociological theories of entrepreneurship. Katika sociological theory tulidiscuss theory nyingi sana, the Frank Youngs, the Coach Lanes and the likes. Na hizo zote zilikuja zikuwa zinaongelea those aspects, the social and the cultural context. So networkings, family backgrounds, educations, and the social culture norms can either facilitate or hinder entrepreneurial activities. Hizi zote ambazo tunaziongelea ni za social, networkings, family backgrounds, educations level, social and the cultural norms. They have positive and a negative impact on entrepreneurial activities. So hapa tunaangalia directions, it's whether it's positive or negative impact. Social capital, for example, play a crucial roles in accessing resources, informations and the support. So unapokuwa na social capital, na hapa tuna social capital, tunaangalia vitu kama hivyo. We talk about networking, we talk about family backgrounds, educations, social and cultural norms, and the likes and the likes and the likes. That's social capital. What tunaongelea hii social capital ina play crucial roles in accessing resources. Resources in terms of finance resources as well. You can get a contributions from the networks. You can get a contribution from the families and the likes. But also have high impact in accessing various informations and the likes. So information mbalimbali unaweza kuzipata. Accessing the right information at the right times. We talk about in the other kind of support. I was listening to one of a student ambaye alikuwa anafanya presentation yake. Have you started doing research, guys? Meshaanza research zenu au bado?
Yes.
Nachiiteki bado.
Bado, wengine wameshaanza. Oktoba mmeanza.
Ndio.
Na kuna wengine wanafanya kwenye entrepreneurships pia. Lakini kuna vitu ambavyo lazima mvizingatie whenever you are doing your research as well. Sababu research tunatoa kwenye haya masomo tunayosoma kila siku. Like if you are interested in entrepreneurships, you can come with something here. So there's one guy alikuwa na present kwenye entrepreneurships. The study was about the creation of entrepreneurial intentions. Kwamba kucreate intention ya ujasiriamali ni part mojawapo. Kabla mtu ajawa mjasiriamali, lazima uwe na intentions. So entrepreneurial intention inasababishwa na nini? Kuna factor mbalimbali zinazosababisha entrepreneurial intentions. Zikiwemo hizo self efficacy, zikiwemo hizo social capital, zikiwepo psychological capital and the likes and the likes. Na study yake amekuwa na concentrate zaidi kwenye hizo social capital. Lakini social capital alidefine kama social support. And on social support alichokuwa nakiongelea zaidi, alitenga social support katika makundi matatu. Ya kwanza ilikuwa ni parental support. Ya pili ikawa ni peer support. Na ya tatu ikawa ni institutional support. Kwamba kuna mtu anakuwa mjasiriamali kwa sababu ya support anayoipata kutoka kwa familia. Parental support, the family. Sawa, kwa kuangalia familia anafanya nini, wanamsupport kitu gani. Lakini kuna wengine pia wanaangalia kwenye peer support, watu wanaokuzunguka, the peer groups, the mobs and the likes. Lakini kuna institutional support kutoka kwenye taasisi, labda ni mwanafunzi anasoma chuo cha uhasibu, anaangalia ile institutional support. Kuna entrepreneurship center pale, inasababisha mambo gani yaweze kumsupport kwa ujasiriamali. Kuna entrepreneurship education, anasoma somo kama ujasiriamali, zina influence vipi yeye kuwa mjasiriamali, right? So we talk about those issues and the likes ambazo zinaweza kumsababisha that individuals aka create that entrepreneurial intention, the likes. So this is what we have been discussing here about the social and the cultural perspectives at the second element under the entrepreneurial perspectives in an individuals. That's the third one. The fourth one is about opportunity-based perspectives. And opportunity-based perspectives entrepreneurs are often seen as opportunity-driven individuals. Wajasiriamali wote ni opportunity-driven individuals. Ndio maana kuna kundi moja ambalo sisi tunaita ni wajasiriamali, lakini to some extent wanashindwa kulitafasiri kama ni wajasiriamali. I can ask you guys, tuna hawa bodabodas, sindio? Tuna mama ntiries, right? na wengine wengi wanaotuzunguka katika jamii zetu. Je, wale ni opportunity driven au ni necessity driven?
Necessity driven.
Are they opportunity driven or necessity driven?
On my side, it is necessity driven.
Necessity driven, Doctor.
Yeah.
So is it right to call them entrepreneurs?
No.
No,
Because-
not possible, Doctor.
On my side, it depends, doctor.
Yes.
They are not big.
Yes.
It
yes.
depends.
Let's have your view.
It is
Let's have your
necessity
view.
driven, but there is the opportunity driven too.
They are necessity and opportunity. Both.
On my side, yes.
Yes.
Both necessity and opportunity driven.
Why? Who are the opportunity driven and who are necessity driven?
Opportunity driven. I mean,
The
driven
opportunity.
Yes, Maureen. Can we go one after another? Yes, Maureen, can you finish up, please?
Okay, the opportunity
Maureen?
driven is that they have seen the opportunity that they can take the market of a certain product. Let's say the Mamantilie, they have things that they have an opportunity to get into business of a certain product. Let's say if it's to cook vitumbua or whatever, they have found that there's an area that they need those vitumbua and no one is producing them. So they take it as an opportunity for them to be on market.
Okay.
Likewise, on the necessity given, it's like they have the need to do so as to cater for their needs. In a simple way, I can say that. Yeah.
Okay. Another one's Edwin, you have something to say.
Yes.
Mazila?
Talking of boda, I was talking concerning about boda. There are those who are necessity driven. They drive the boda the same way. They get the needs, and likewise every day they have the same mindset. But there are the others who see it as an opportunity. They use it, then they grow into that business. They find
Okay.
yes, they can have one boda, multiply them into more others, start spare parts shops in that way. Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
Doctor,
Edwin. Yes.
Doctor, I'm sorry. From my side, I think most of them, they are necessity driven. Because most of them, they are doing that activities in order to feed their daily necessities. That is why there is no any creativity on their businesses. For example, wherever you are going in Tanzania, all bodas have the same characteristics. All of them. And you cannot differentiate the bodas maybe from Dar es Salaam and those from Mbeya. They have the same characteristics. That means on the sector of boda, there is no any creativity that make them to maybe boda from there can be different from boda from Manyara, for example. While we see that in entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur, you must have a continuous improvement that differentiate your service from yesterday maybe to tomorrow and from maybe the next day or next year. It means that you have a continuous improvement. If there is no any continuous improvement, it means that that business you are doing is not you are doing not as an entrepreneur, but you are doing in order to sustain your daily activities. I mean, thank you.
Yes, I understand. I got you, Mazila. Yes, another ones, please. I saw some raise their hand. Yes, Ashim, Peter.
Yes, doctor. Yeah, even for me, I just think it should be maybe an opportunity, and also for
opportunity and necessity.
Yes, of course. Yeah, when it comes to opportunity, you can say maybe there are some guys, especially for this time around, we are observing a lot of guys who are working maybe in a public organization, like especially from municipality, and a few of them, they were teachers. They just quit from their jobs and are becoming a boda or a bajaj driver. So they believe in boda boda or driving a bajaji, there is more opportunities compared to where they were working before.
Okay.
Yes. And for the issues of necessities, yes, there are some of them because they don't have anything to do, just to get their daily bread. So they're just deciding to become either a boda boda driver or a bajaji driver or mamantilie, just to see, because I just like 1 year ago, I saw a certain lady. She have a master's degree from UK, and
yes,
she came here in Tanzania. She just looked for a job. She didn't find a job. Then she decided to pick some fruits in a very, very good way. Then she's visiting each and every office for her business, and then she managed to make it here.
Okay, thank you, Ashim Wells. Yes, have Mahat, and then Samson will follow. Mahat, please.
Yes, Doctor. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to know those who initiate those applications such as Uber and Bolt and join those boda bodas and bajajis so as the customers may apply and get those rides from one place to another. Can we term them as entrepreneurs, those initiators of those applications?
Okay, Mahat, I'll reply to your questions later. Yes, Samson.
Okay, cool.
Doctor.
Yes.
To me, it is quite difficult to classify these. I mean, separate Mamantilia and the Bonabola from entrepreneur. I mean, being opportunity seekers or I mean, necessity driven, because there are some people who started as Mamantilia and they turned into being an entrepreneur. For instance, we have Steve. He started as a pure Mamantilia, then he turned only a huge hotels and experience where someone can have food. So to me, it depends on one is the patient. There are one who started as boda bodas, then they tend to be an entrepreneur, big entrepreneur.
Okay.
There is after they started as boda boda, they are still boda boda as we speak today. So it's quite difficult to me to classify them whether they are necessity driven or opportunity seekers. It depends on one's decision.
Okay.
That is my decision.
Okay, thank you, Joseph Antega. Wells. One of the guys, Mahat, asked on can we term those app developer, like the ABBA and the likes, as an entrepreneurs? Yeah, the answer is yes, because they qualify to be an entrepreneurs. They are initiator, they took risky, they find opportunity, that there's other problems of people finding the right ways on how to get access to the transport facilities, then they do those applications, whichever the case. Lils, they are an entrepreneur, so they 100% qualify to be an entrepreneur. Words. Lemsi, can you sum up like 1 minute and then we can continue, please?
Hello, Doctor. Actually, I have a question for you and actually for everyone as a discussion. Yes. Is there like time frame or like a set time where to, from this year up this year, if you didn't make it, you're not qualified as an entrepreneur? Or, like I'm talking about if someone, hustles for like 10 years and then make it up and be, termed as an entrepreneur. Is there a time frame for that?
Okay, thank you, Lems. In short, there's no time frames because success is not a linear projections. It has ups and downs, but it depends on how you move from one stage to the other stages. We discussed we didn't discuss in these classes, but when we talk about in entrepreneurial theories or entrepreneurial perspectives, entrepreneurial also moves from one stage to another until it graduates from the stage that the person is, as well as it depends on the nature of the activities. There are some activities or ideas which are a little bit complicated, especially technological based. So they need time to reach to maturity stages. There are a lot of issues on the development phases, fabrication phases, manufacturing phases, until you reach to maturity. And there are so many complications within it. Take into consideration as well as the environmental factors or the government context. They can also hinder the process to go a little bit faster if things are not in the right way or they are not straightforward, that a person can move these ways until to maturities. So in short, we don't have a time frames. It depends on how you progress from one stage to another. Some can take years and then the business can take over. Some can take 2 years, 3 years. Some also can take 10 years. So it depends on how the business can move from one stage to the other stages. So thank you. So let's continue with our discussion a little bit. We finish these factors. We have been discussing about opportunity-based perspectives. That's where I just popped up the questions that entrepreneurial are often received as opportunity-driven individuals. This perspective emphasizes that the ability of an entrepreneur to identify, evaluate, and exploit opportunity in the marketplace. It aligns with Shane's Leveka Lam's 2000s view of entrepreneurships as a nexus between individuals and the opportunities. So the fourth one is about intentional and the behavioral perspectives. So this approach focuses on entrepreneurial intentions as a precursor or forerunner to action. So as I've said, kama nilivyochangia pia nilivyoongelea one of the study ya huyo mwanafunzi alikuwa anaongelea kwenye entrepreneurial intentions. Entrepreneurial intention hii tunaitazama kama precursor or prerequisite to actions. Before taking an actions, you need to develop an intention first. So wengi wanashindwa hata kufikia kwenye ile entrepreneurial intentions, wanataka kufanya kitu fulani, kwa sababu entrepreneurial intentions has its own factors, ziko nyingi sana kama nilizoziongelea. Kuna social factors as well as psychological factors ambazo zote zinachangia katika creations ya entrepreneurial intentions. And then we can see as in theory of planned behavior, ambayo tunaangalia kwenye entrepreneurial intention is always about behavioral studies. Tunaangalia behavior ya mtu, the actions or the attitude of someone to develop an intentions is a little bit behavior. It's a behavioral study. So the theory of planned behaviors is frequently applied to explain our attitude, subjective norms, and the perceived behavior control predict entrepreneurial intentions, which turn them into actual behavior. So hapa tunaangalia factor tatu. Factor ya kwanza ikiwa ni attitude. Na hii attitude inategemeana na those factors ambao tumeangalia hizo factor kama za social factors. Social factor tumeangalia the family, talk about the family, we talk about the peer groups as we talk about the institutions. Hizo zina factor kubwa sana kutengeneza attitude. The second one tunaangalia subjective norms, the context ambao inakuzunguka, the support unazopata kwenye community inakuzunguka, support unazopata kwenye institutions, but also we talk about the perceived behavior control and how do you perceive, how a person perceives ile behavior, anaweza vipi kuzicontrol hizo actions nazo au matokeo, and then from there anaweza kudevelop the intentions to be an entrepreneur. And that's what we talk about the intentions and the behavioral perspectives. So this is all about contributing to entrepreneurial spirit. So we saw, where did we end up? We ended up here, I think. Yes, we discussed the various factors contributing to entrepreneurial spirit on the aspect of entrepreneurial perspectives in an individuals. We saw the last part, we discussed about intentions and the behavioral perspectives. So now continuations on these factors contributing to entrepreneurial spirit. Let's discuss the driver of entrepreneurial spirit in an individual. So the type of entrepreneurial spirit in an individual can be broadly categorized into various categories. First, we have those personal traits that can drive someone to develop the entrepreneurial spirit. So personal trait here means individual character, self-efficacy, creativity, needs for achievement, and internal locus of control, which are much more strong predictor of entrepreneurial behavior as well as entrepreneurial intentions. When we talk about entrepreneurial behavior, we means the intentions of someone to be an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurs often demonstrate high level of resilience, adaptability, and the proactiveness. Always they have this high level of resilience, adaptability, and the proactive. And these always are much more contributed to these factors or these characteristics such as risk tolerance, self-efficacy, creativity, needs for achievement, and the internal locus of control. So the second one is a social cultural influence apart from the personal trait. Social cultural influence here means those social norms, family backgrounds, and the cultural attitudes, which are much more towards entrepreneurships. They always significantly impact one entrepreneurial spirit. So these social norms, family backgrounds, and the cultural attitudes. For instance, having an entrepreneurial business environment increase the likelihood of a person's to develop entrepreneurial intentions and in the future to take entrepreneurial actions to start his or her own business activity. The third ones are economic conditions. Talk about institutional support, such as entrepreneurial educations, incubation centers, government policies, as well as legal frameworks, which plays a significant fostering entrepreneurships. Supportive ecosystems provide the resources and the knowledge which are necessary to start and grow a business activities. So if you don't have supportive ecosystems, that's what we talk about entrepreneurial ecosystems. If entrepreneurial ecosystem is very low, such a society, such a country, it's very difficult to create this entrepreneurial spirit or to motivate its own individuals or citizens to engage in entrepreneurships. Because when we talk about entrepreneurial ecosystems, we talk about the institutional support. Institutional supports, we talk on those part of entrepreneurial educations or entrepreneurship educations, in which in our country they are much more provided in these formal education systems. Only for those who are going to schools, they have access to get these entrepreneurial educations. And for those who are in informal sectors, it's very difficult to get access to entrepreneurial education or whatever. But we have incubation center. And this incubation center also, most of them, they are much more attached to universities and the college and the likes. So in a street, there's no incubation center that can accept individuals from the street. Very few of them that always works or always operate in big cities or whatever. But in our village, where a lot of population resides, it's very difficult also to get this incubation center. We can also talk about on the part of government supports or government policies, that the policies support these entrepreneurial activities. In our country, we have COSTIC, which they're much more engaged in supporting innovations and the likes. So do they have any other supports like educations, financial, and the other kind of supports? But also talk about the legal framework in general. All these factors, in general, we talk them as environmental conditions, which have crucial roles in fostering entrepreneurships within our countries. So apart from that, the next part under the factor contributing to entrepreneurial spirit, we're going to discuss about the factor which are threatening entrepreneurial spirit or killings, threatening entrepreneurial spirit in both social and the corporate dimensions, not killings. This killing is long. We talk about the factor threatening entrepreneurial spirit in both social and the corporate dimensions. So under this, we just mean that entrepreneurial spirit, which refer to a mindset which characterizes the innovations, risk takings, and the proactiveness, It's a critical to economic growth of any organizations. However, both social and the corporate environment can pose a significant threat to this spirit. So how to develop entrepreneurial spirit? We have some factors, and be social threats as well as they can be cooperative. So on the part of social threats or social dimension of threats, one of which is a cultural conformity and the risk aversions. Societal norms that favor stability and discourage failure can suppress entrepreneurial behavior. In a culture where failure is stigmatized, that potential entrepreneur may avoid taking risk necessary to innovate and start a business ventures. So, and this according to Hofstede cultural dimensions. When we talk about Hofstede cultural dimensions, aliongelea the 5 cultural dimensions according to Hofstede dimensions. Mojawapo aliongelea katika jamii ambazo kwamba they don't accept failure, they all accept a success. So kwenye upande wa ujasiriamali tunasema entrepreneurship is always about trying. So na the failure is part of learning process. So in those kind of society that cannot accept this, always play a part as a threat to entrepreneurial spirit. That's how we talk about on the part of cultural conformity and the risk aversions. So the second ones, we talk about education system limitations. Traditional education systems often prioritize the rote learnings over creativity, critical thinkings, and the problem savings. And this undermines the development of entrepreneurial skills among the youth. Na hizi ni changamoto kubwa sana tulionao katika nchi yetu kwa sasa. Tukiangalia mifumo mingi ya elimu ambayo tunayo katika nchi yetu kwa sasa hivi, yote ina target formal education. Wale watoto wanaenda shule kwa lengo la kupasi mitihani yao. Kwa mfano, nina binti yangu anasoma shule moja hapa Arusha. Ni shule ya primary. Lakini ukiangalia utaratibu wa ile shule, Friday it should be a sport day. But wonderful enough, na ni kitu ambacho nimekiobserve several times, before Friday ilikuwa ni sport, yes. Wanavaa nguo za michezo, wanaenda kucheza shuleni, kama pati moja wapo pia kudevelop extracurricular activities. Lakini recently, Friday wanaenda na madaftari na mabegi wanasoma darasani. So it's something that has been bothering me in my mind. Mpaka siku moja ilibidi nifunge safari niende shuleni kwa mtoto, kwenda kuongea na walimu wake kwamba why these kids study on Friday instead of engaging in extracurricular activities, because they have their own talents that should be developed. They have their own talent that should be nurtured. Right? Sasa ukiangalia situation kama hizo, ni shule nyingi tunazo ndani ya nchi ambazo zote wameconcentrate kwenye formal education systems. Hawana these extracurricular activities ambazo zinaweza ku create creativity, critical thinkings and the problem solving skills. So apart from the normal situation about mnasoma. So all this situation always undermines the development of entrepreneurial skills among the youth. Kwa sababu hawana kazi nyingine ya kufanya rather than yeye anajua ni kusoma. So these another factors and the social on the part of education system limitations. The third one, we talk about the lack of social capital. In many communities, access to network, mentor, and the role model is very limited. This lack of social support reduces the confidence and the capability of emerging entrepreneurs. So unakuta katika taasisi nyingi sana au katika jamii nyingi sana, access to network, there's no networking at all. There's no mentors and there's no role model ambaye anaweza kumotivate yule kijana mdogo, the youth, kwamba when I grow up, I want to be like these persons. So I want to be like what these persons achieved. So na ukiangalia watoto wetu wengi ukiwauliza role model wake anakuambia someone from the US, someone from the UK, someone from... Yes, it's good to have a role model of those persons. Lakini changamoto ni moja, kwamba those persons hapo bringing yao, makuzi yao, hawajapitia changamoto ambazo unazipitia wewe in Africa, especially in Tanzanian context. So a role model should be someone ambaye ameweza kuexperience changamoto unazozipitia, then baadaye akaweza kusucceed. Lakini unapoleta role model ambaye amekuwa katika system ambayo iko ni formal ways, kila kitu kinafahamika kwamba you move from point A, you go to point B, you go to point C, you go till to point Z. Lakini ukimleta katika jamii yetu ambayo we have back and forward systems becomes very difficult for those people to strive. So a lack of those role model, lack of the mentors, as well as access to network, it always limit the ability to develop entrepreneurial spirit among the youth as well. So the fourth ones, we talk about regulatory and the bureaucratic barriers. So excessive regulations, complex licensing procedure, and the bureaucratic red tapes can discourage entrepreneurial activities, particularly in developing economies. Na hii tukiangalia katika nchi zetu nyingi hizi ni kitu ambacho kiko reals, tuna changamoto nyingi sana. We have excessive regulations. Someone starts a business in a certain industries, unatakiwa umiti requirement ya taasisi hii, inatakiwa umiti uende sijui TRA ukapate sijui namba ya mlipa kodi, uende sijui halmashauri sijui ukapate sijui leseni ya biashara, sijui kama unahusu sijui bana sijui kuna labda wewe unafahamika sijui mambo sijui kuna labda kama ni what you talk about mambo ya mawasiliano, TCRA wakupe kibali, sijui unahusika na mambo ya chakula, uende sijui TBS sijui uende wapi. So all those excessive regulations always damage or hinder the development of entrepreneurial spirit. We have these complex licensing procedures, very complex. You have a lot of permits you need to have in your hands in order to start something, as well as bureaucratic red tapes can discourage entrepreneurial activities, particularly in these developing countries. That's on the one part. The second part, we talk about those threats on the part of corporate dimension and threats. Under the corporate dimension and threats, one is rigid hierarchies and bureaucracy. In many corporations, strict hierarchy and the risk-averse culture discourage initiatives and suppress innovation and thinking among employees. Hapa tunaangalia kwenye corporate, kwenye upande wa taasisi. Taasisi zetu nyingi hizi pia kuna a lot of strictness. Kuna vizuizi vingi sana vya mtu kuwa initiator, kwa mtu kuwa innovator, kwa mtu kuwa creatives. So vinazuia, as well as angalia risk of these cultures, zina discourage initiatives and suppress innovative among employees. So this always strive entrepreneurships and the practice of acting like entrepreneur within a companies. Kwamba unakuta kwamba policy inasemaje? What are the procedure? Did you follow the procedure? The procedure said so and so and so. You are not supposed to do this and this and this. Even what you want to do is the right ways, but because the procedure does not allow, you cannot perform the task. So the second one, we talk about short-termisms. And the short-termisms, they focus on short-term profit, driven by shareholder pressure, often disincentivizes long-term innovations and risk-taking within our firms. And most of the organizations or most of corporations wana malengo ya muda mfupi. Wao wana focus on short-term profit. Wanahitaji those shareholders and stockholders to get a return from their own investment. So this situation always discourage long-term innovations and the risk-taking within the firms. So the third one, we talk about micromanagement and the lack of autonomy. When employees lack autonomy or are micromanaged, the intrinsic motivations to innovate or take initiative diminishes significantly. Kwamba hana uwezo wa kujiongoza mwenyewe. Kila kitu anatakiwa haongozwe, afuate taratibu. Hana uwezo wa kufanya maamuzi mwenyewe. Kila kitu lazima asiki permissions. So those kind of situations always diminish uwezo wa mtu kuwa creatives as well as kuweza kudevelop entrepreneurial spirit. And the last one, the fourth ones, punitive failure culture. In many corporate environment, failure is penalized rather than treated as a learning opportunities. So this always cultivates a fear and the risk avoidance, which are antithetically to entrepreneurial behavior. Na hii tunaangalia taasisi nyingi zetu kwamba mtu ukifanya kosa au kifails, you are penalized. It's whether you have to pay the loss or there's other kind of penalty that will be given rather than to treat it as a learning opportunity. Lakini hiyo pia inategemea na kacha yetu, kwa sababu tukisema kama learning opportunity, some people also can use that as part of opportunity to benefit on their own personal benefit. So all these situations ambazo tunaziongelea kwenye corporate dimensions ambazo pia ni threat za ku-create or to develop entrepreneurial spirit. So conclusively, both societal and corporate structure can suppress entrepreneurial spirit through cultural institutions and organizational barrier. So addressing these threats require fostering a more tolerant, flexible, and supportive environment that value creativity, risk-takings, under continuous learnings. Questions, guys? If anyone have questions on that part, please. So let's discuss the second part about exploiting entrepreneurial opportunities. Apart from discussing the factor that contribute to entrepreneurial spirit, our second element, we're going to discuss on exploiting entrepreneurial opportunities, starting with the concept on the terms of entrepreneurial opportunity or entrepreneurial opportunity basic concept. First of all, we need to know the term opportunity. When we talk about opportunity, we don't have a universal definition of the term opportunity. It depends on the context, it depends on the connotations and the likes. But in a simple ways, we can say that an opportunity is a favorable set of circumstances that enable an individuals, groups, organizations to act towards achieving a desired goals or advantages. So there can be those favorable terms of circumstances that enable individuals, groups, organizations to act towards achieving a desired goals or advantage. In entrepreneurships, for example, an opportunity is seen as a situation. A situation can be a challenge. A situation can be a problem. A situation can be the needs in which a new goods, a service, raw material, organizational methods can be introduced and sold at a greater than the cost of productions. That means you have returns. That's how we talk about viability and the visibility of opportunities. So opportunity can be viable, but also cannot be visible. Visible that cannot be implemented, but the viability we talk about in terms of economic benefit that you can get from the opportunities. So in strategic management, opportunity refers to external environmental factor that an organization can exploit to gain a competitive advantage. If you guys are studying strategic management, you always, when you talk about strategic management in the environmental factors, we have both the internal one and the external ones. And opportunity is always termed as the external environmental factor that an organization can exploit to gain or develop a competitive advantage. Thus, opportunity always combines potential, that's the likelihood of success, and accessibility, the ability to act upon it, as well as the timing, alignment with external and the internal readiness. So we have three elements under the opportunity. Tunaangalia opportunity, potential, about tunaangalia potentiality ya ile opportunity, likelihood to succeed. So such an opportunity, una nafasi ngapi? What are the chances of success from the situation that is prevailing in the market right now? We talk about in terms of accessibility, the ability to act upon. Do we have ability to act upon? Do you have ability to exploit the opportunity? And the timings, the alignment within the external and the internal readiness. So entrepreneurial opportunity are situations in which new goods, services, raw material, and organizational methods can be introduced and sold at a greater than their cost of productions, as I've said, to the point at which identifiable consumer needs meet the visibility of satisfying the requested product or a service. So in such ways, we define opportunity that it's where the perceptions meet the expectations meet the perceptions. So when you meet the expectation meet the perceptions, that's how we talk about the customer becomes satisfied. From economic perspectives, or entrepreneurial opportunity generally refer to situations that hold the potential for new economic values. And from Schapiter outlined the 5 forms of entrepreneurial opportunity. One of which it was about introduction of new goods, introduction of new method of productions, the opening of new market at the third. The fourth one is control of new source of raw material or half manufactured goods. And the last one is creation of new types of industrial organizations and the likes. So Shatter will try those 5 forms of entrepreneurial opportunities. So as well as Keynesians advocate the theory of entrepreneurial readiness, describing entrepreneurial ability to see and discover and exploit opportunity that others miss. So pia ukimwangalia Keynesians aliongelea kwenye theory yake ya readiness aliongelea opportunity as the ability to see, to discover and exploit opportunity that others miss. That's an entrepreneurial opportunity kwenye theory ya entrepreneurial readiness. As well as Hisrich and Peter noted that this is a very difficult task, as most opportunity do not just appear, but rather result from an entrepreneurial alertness to possibilities. So this definition of entrepreneurial opportunity is very useful in such a way that entrepreneurial opportunity are about two things. One, something happening in the environment in terms of resources. And the second one, something to do with individuals, creations, belief, recombinations. So opportunity always depends on the two elements or two things, combination of those two things. First, tunaangalia what is happening in the environment in terms of resources. Resources hapa tunaweza ku in terms of situations, in terms of demand, in terms of challenge, in terms of problems. And how do you solve such a problems? We need to create some things to do with an individual. Coding market on the part of meetings of entrepreneurial opportunities. So we have various thought, or we have various school of thought on the part of how market functions and how can we come to exploit opportunity within the market. Thought ya kwanza, it is thought of subjective school of thought. Under this subjective school of thought, the researcher revealed that subjectives or socially constructed nature of opportunity make it impossible to separate opportunity from individuals. Hiyo ni subjective school of thought ambao aliongelea kwamba hizo opportunity kwamba subjectives or socially constructed nature of opportunity make it impossible to separate opportunity from individuals. Kwa mfano, unaishi katika mazingira ambayo yana society, na zile society tunasema kuna social constructed nature ambayo zinatokana na mazingira yetu. Sawa? Social constructed nature ni matatizo ambayo yanahusu jamii zinazotuzunguka. Kwa mfano, unaangalia kwenye jamii yako kuna changamoto ya maji. Hiyo ni social constructed nature. Kuna changamoto ya maji. Kuna changamoto ya maji za opportunity. Na hiyo opportunity huwezi kuiseparate from the individuals. In such a ways, ili changamoto ya maji ili itatulike, lazima watu wahusike. You alone you cannot do it. Lazima ujue kwamba kweli watu wanahitaji maji eneo lile, or they don't need water. So in such a ways, so those kind of opportunity which are separated based on the subjective school of thought, they are called, yes. So the subjective school of thought, they are under this the first school of thought, and the subjective school of thought, which cannot be separated from individuals. Lakini kuna pili ambayo tunasema ni objective school of thought. So this researcher contend that opportunity is an objective construct, visible or created by knowledgeable or attainable entrepreneurs. So kwamba hapa, these guys talked about opportunity on the part of objectives construct, which is visible or created by knowledgeable or attainable entrepreneurs. So tofauti ya hizi mbili kwenye subjective school of thought na objective school of thought, subjective school of thought, those opportunities cannot be separated from individual. Kwamba utatue changamoto ya maji, lazima watu wahusike. Utachimba kisima pale, lakini lazima wale watu wahitaji kile kisima na hoteli. Lakini kwenye objectives unatumia knowledge yako wewe kuangalia kama tatizo, labda unatengeneza applications fulani, whatever. Knowledge yako whether ni ya shule au si ya shule na vitu kama hivyo, ambavyo unaleta kitu ambacho unaenda kuexploit ile opportunity kutokana na knowledge ambayo entrepreneur anaipossess or anaitains. The third one is we talk about the discovery of opportunities, that is extending the economic theory of entrepreneurs. Under this, there is an infinity between the concept of opportunity and the concept of project. This according to Carson's and the Watsons. A project is said to be a stock of resources committed to a particular use of considerable period of times, whereas an opportunity is a project not yet in operations that is part of the optimal set of project in the economy. So tukiangalia here tatu, discovery of opportunity or extending the economic theory of entrepreneur. These researchers waliongelea opportunity katika kuitofautisha na project. Tunasema opportunity ni fursa, project ni mradi, na hawa wakaangalia kwamba there is an infinity between or difference between the concept of opportunity and the concept of project. Wakaongelea kwamba a project is said to be a stock of resources committed to a particular use for a considerable period of times. Stock of resources ambayo imekuwa committed to a particular use for considerable period of times. Na always tukiangalia nature project yoyote in a definite period of times. That means it has a starting times and ending times. Wakati opportunity waliongelea kwamba is a project not yet in operations. It is still a thought. It is still like imaginations within someone's minds. That is part of the optimal set of project in the economy. When it comes into operations, we call it a project, not opportunity. But we have the other thoughts about the economic school of thought. Economic school of thought focuses on objectives, dimensions of knowledge and informations. Attribute the existence of entrepreneurial opportunity to the distributions or lack thereof of informations regarding material opportunities in society. So how are we focused on the objective dimension of knowledge and informations? Now, kuongelea kwamba knowledge and informations hizi, they are much more basic attribute to the existence of entrepreneurial opportunity. Kwamba unapokuwa na knowledge ya kitu fulani, unapokuwa na taarifa ya kitu fulani, inamsaidia yule individual mjasiriamali kuweza kujua existence ya fursa fulani kwenye mazingira yanayomzunguka. If you don't have knowledge, you can find such a things as a simple things, a normal things that has been there years and years. Lakini kuna mwingine anaweza kuona kwamba no, hiki ninachokitazama hapa na knowledge nacho, nina information nacho, ninaweza kugeuza kuwa fursa and the likes. So the fifth one is a cultural cognitive school of thought. And a cultural cognitive school of thought, while sharing an emphasis on knowledge and informations, takes the view that it is the emergence of subjectives, shared meaning of knowledge that construct opportunity. The cultural cognitive school of thought, hii kidogo ni tofauti na economic school of thought. So this the cultural cognitive school of thought, wao waliongelea zaidi kwamba while sharing an emphasis on knowledge and informations, takes the view that it is the emergence of subjectives, shared meaning of knowledge that construct opportunity. So kwamba opportunity inazaliwa zaidi kutokana na shared meanings of knowledge within the society itself, or the emergence of subjectives within the society itself, ambao based on those shared meaning of knowledge, kwamba knowledge iliyoko, how can it be shared within the same community, whichever the case, and that's the main source of opportunity within the society. And lastly, we talk about the social political school of thought. Opportunity are subjectives in the sense that they are social network structure and yet subjectives, given that the exploitations depends on entrepreneurial political skills and the ability to persuade others as part of the successful commercializations. So social political school of thought iliunganisha two concept. Concept ya kwanza ikawa ni ya social society na concept ya pili ikawa ni ya political siasa. So na hii school of thought wanaongelea kwamba opportunity are subjective in the sense that they are social network structure, yani mahusiano ya kijamii ambayo yako ndani ya jamii, and yet subjective given that the exploitations depends on the entrepreneurial political skills, uwezo wake, maarifa yake ya kisiasa alionayo, and ability to persuade others as part of their successful commercializations. Kwamba kutokana na social network structure, uwezo wa mjasiriamali wa kisiasa au skills alionayo ya kisiasa inaweza kumsaidia kuweza kushawishi wengine, the rest of the society, kuweza kupersuade such opportunity within the environment. So that's on the part of the first element on the basic concept of exploiting entrepreneurial opportunity. So the second part is the source of entrepreneurial opportunity. Basically, entrepreneurial opportunity arises from various sources. One of which entrepreneurial can identify and they can exploit to create values. That these sources are often classified into distinct categories that reflect changes in the market, technology, and the social dynamics. So the below is the summary of entrepreneurial source of or source of entrepreneurial opportunity supported by academic and the practical references. Source ya kwanza entrepreneurial opportunity tunaongelea ni change in technology, na tunaangalia sasa hivi kuna mabadiliko makubwa sana ya teknolojia yanayotokea duniani na ambayo yamefungua fursa mbalimbali ambazo watu wameweza kuexploit, wameweza kutengeneza vitu ambavyo ni very amazing, ambavyo vimeenda kusaidia changamoto mbalimbali tunazonazo kwenye jamii. So under this technological advancement often open a new market and makes the existing process more efficient. Entrepreneur can leverage innovations in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, or digital platforms to create new product or services. We can take in example the emergence of internet-enabled business like Amazon and Google to disrupt traditional industries. So change in technology kama emergence of internet, ambao ukuaji wa teknolojia au internet mtandao umesababisha disruption kubwa sana on how business can be conducted in the world. Tumeweza kuwa na hizi online business na whichever the case, lakini pia tumeweza kuwa na various applications na ambazo pia zimeenda kusupport various business activities. So the second one is a change in demographic and the social trend. Shift in the population characteristics such as aging, urbanizations, or health consciousness. This always create new needs and demands. These various generations. Sasa hivi tuko kwenye Gen Z generations. Gen Z ukiangalia mahitaji yao, demand yao, needs zao, preferences zao, tastes zao ni tofauti kabisa na generation zilizopita. They are totally different to millennium generation or whatever. So this shift in population characteristics, ukiangalia aging, urbanizations, or health consciousness, it is going to create new needs and demands or for the new goods or new service within the market, ambazo kwa kiasi fulani zinaenda kuzalisha various opportunities. Meangalia kwa example, the rise of health conscious consumer leads to increased opportunity in organic foods and the wellness sectors. So we talk about market inefficiency and the gaps. Opportunity exists where market fails to serve the segment effectively, leading to underserved needs or inefficiency. Example, fintech companies like PayPal addresses inefficiency in traditional banking services. Ukiangalia kwamba kama kuna market inefficiency and gaps, kwamba soko lililopo linashindwa kutimiza majukumu yake au limeshindwa kuweza kufulfill mahitaji ambayo yanayohitajika. Tumeangalia mfano wa fintech companies, but also you can talk fintech companies or fintech applications like M-Pesas na whatever, na ambazo pia zimeenda ku address inefficiency in traditional banking system, whichever the case. So that's can be the third ones. The fourth one, you talk about regulatory or political changes at the source of business opportunities. New laws, deregulations, or government policies can create opportunity for business to enter or exit in the market. Example, the registrations of cannabis or several jurisdictions created a booming industry for medical and recreational product. Na hata tukiangalia katika nchi yetu kuna mabadiliko mbalimbali ya sheria au regulations au government policies ambazo zimeweza ku create opportunity ya kitu kingine. Kwa mfano, before tulikuwa tunatumia plastic bags as a carriage bags. Ukienda kununua kitu dukani whatever, unapewa ile mifuko ya plastic. Lakini baadaye ilivyokuwa bans, tumeweza kuja kuwa na another opportunity. Tumeweza kuwa na option nyingine. Lakini mwanzoni serikali inachukua na maamuzi ya kubani matumizi ya plastic bags. Watu wako nafikiria sasa tunaanza kufunga kwenye bahasha, tunaanza kufunga kwenye magazeti na vitu kama hivyo. Lakini hiyo ilifungua fursa nyingine ya watu wa kuja na innovation ambazo ni totally different na ambazo zimeenda ku disrupt the whole market na zimeenda fulfills the customer needs and wants. So the fifth one is to talk about unexpected event in the crisis. Crises like economic recessions, pandemic, or natural disasters can disrupt the norms and force change in consumptions and production behavior. Example, COVID-19 led to a surge in demand for limited collaboration tools like Zooms and whatever. Hizi matumizi ya Zooms na hizi nyingine sijui we talk about Zooms, we talk about Google Meet, we talk about all those. Zimekuja zaidi zimepata soko kubwa sana baada ya COVID-19 ambayo iliweza kuzuia physical meetings of individuals na whatever. Inabidi watu wafanye kazi remoteness wakiwa mbali na whatever. Lakini tukiangalia kipindi cha COVID pia tuliweza kupata bidhaa mbalimbali na ambayo sidhani kama wote tunaitumia bado. Sanitizers. Tunatumia sanitizer guys. Do you use sanitizer?
Mara chache sana tunatokea.
Angalia wengi hata walifahamu sanitizer baada ya COVID-19. So tukiangalia situation kama hizo kwamba unexpected event or crisis zinasababisha various opportunity ambazo zinatokea au zina disrupt within the market. Kama sasa hivi tuna changamoto ya oil crisis in the West, na hiyo pia inaweza kutengeneza opportunity mbalimbali ambazo zimekuwepo. If you have an opportunity ambayo unaiona imeweza kurise katika society yako based on these unexpected events or crisis, you can share guys in this class as well. So the sixth one is knowledge and research spillover. Academic research and the research and development by firms can lead to commercial applications that entrepreneur can capitalize. Example, university-based research often leads to spin-off companies or pharmaceutical or softwares. Na tunaweza kuangalia kwamba tuna hizi knowledge and research spillovers kupitia taasisi mbalimbali za elimu, vyuo vikuu na vyuo vingine ambavyo wanafanya tafiti mbalimbali, wana vitengo vya research and development ambao kupitia hivyo vitengo they are just pulling money and the students coming with innovative ideas and those students coming with those ideas ambazo zinaweza kutatua changamoto mbalimbali kwenye jamii. Na kwenye nchi zetu hizi tunaweza kusema kwamba hatufanyi vizuri sana katika hilo eneo, lakini nchi za wenzetu, when you go like a country like China, kampuni kubwa ya Kichina ile ya simu, kampuni gani ya simu ya Kichina inaitwa Huawei wanasapoti vyuo vikubwa sana kwenye tafiti zao, vyuo vikubwa vya China labs, tafiti zao za maabara, they are much more supporting of us. So that's where a lot of innovations comes from this university academic research labs, as well as research and development programs from various firms that also can lead to commercial application that entrepreneur can capitalize on those areas. Conclusively, recognizing this source allow entrepreneurs to anticipate trend and meet emerging needs creatively and profitably. Alternatively, according to Kizerians, entrepreneur is considered to be a discover opportunity which arise from the market equilibriums. The source of short-term opportunities are technological change, political, regulatory change, and as well as social and demographic change. As well as Keynesian opportunity believe that these things always occur at a time or place. And the source is a market disequilibriums or created by errors or omission that create surplus and a shortage. Yeye aliamini kabisa hizo opportunities zinasababishwa na those two market forces ambazo tunaangalia demand and the supplies. So mojawapo ikiwa disrupt, that's where opportunity inaweza kuarise. It's whether the demand is high or the supply is high. And research also categorize the source of entrepreneurial opportunities in many different ways. So by this phrase, tunaweza kuangalia opportunity ambazo zinaweza kukuja in terms of ecology, sociology, economic management, but also by level of analysis ambazo tunaweza kuangalia tuna micro, meso and the macro. But as well as by institutional leaderships that can be in terms of demand and the supply on the part of market and the factor, or as well as factored by the government policy and the likes. So alternatives, opportunity can come from various ways from this knowledge. So the source of entrepreneurial opportunity are startups partners, previous employment, families, ethnic network, prior knowledge of market needs, prior knowledge of how to save the market, and the prior knowledge of challenge saving the market. That's according to Tolles and Gens 2017. The other source of entrepreneurial opportunity can also be classified as increase the access to capital through social media, source like cloud sourcing, artificial intelligence, advancement in media care, and access to learning about new technology, increase the globalizations on the part of importing and exporting, as well as economic factors could include the strong economies that fuel other business. Example, growth of house market fuels growth by many housing related product or service. This according to Rice University in their study 2024. So with this, with reference to Peter Drucker and as well as Tamil, which identified the 7 sources of entrepreneurial opportunity. And these sources are based on the Peter Drucker source, not the one we discussed the first. Peter Drucker source and as well as the Tamal Wheelwright aliongelea entrepreneurial opportunity katika makundi 7. Kundi la kwanza alisema those unexpected opportunity. Unexpected opportunities are those opportunities that comes due to disaster strike. Hurricanes, mafuriko mbalimbali yametokea, imetokea disaster sehemu fulani, labda janga fulani limetokea, fursa imetokea. Lakini akaongelea fursa nyingine katika kundi la industry and the market disparities, kwamba tunapokuwa na industry market disparity, hakuna usawa kati ya industry and market. Hapa tunaongelea zaidi katika economic forces, demand and the supplies. Ya tatu akaongelea process vulnerability or process needs, kwamba kuna uhitaji wa kitu fulani ambacho kinasababisha ile opportunity na lies. Lakini ya tatu akaongelea inequalities, so quality of this grain being unsuitable or inappropriate. So we talked about also akaongelea demographic shift, change in perceptions, as well as new knowledge. So don't concentrate too much on this, but the first, those we discussed are the source of business opportunity. They are the ones that you have to concentrate much on those. The third part and the last part for today, we are going to discuss on evaluate venture opportunity in diverse industry for exploiting. So this subtopic summarizes evaluations of venture opportunities across diverse industries or various industries. It highlights how potential sectors for exploitation based on the market trend, innovation capability, and investment attractiveness. Kwanza kabisa, under this, on how to evaluate these venture opportunities, tunaweza kuangalia on the part of artificial intelligence and the machine learning. There are a lot of opportunity on the part of artificial intelligence and the machine learning on the part of AI. Tukiangalia opportunities zilizopo, AI powered tools in healthcare diagnostics, finance in terms of fraud detections, and the customer service in terms of chatbots and the visual assistants. Na hizo tunaziona zinafanya kazi kubwa sana. Kama sasa hivi sekta nyingi za afya wanatumia AI powered tools kufanya a lot of diagnostics. Amna haja ya kumfanyia mtu operations, amna haja ya kufanya whatever. They are using these tools kuweza kufanya diagnostic. Lakini kwenye upande wa finance pia kuna fraud detection tools ambazo pia they are much more related to AI or machine learning. But also you can talk about on the customer services. Kuna chatbox. Siku hizi taasisi nyingi unaingia kwenye website na kuuliza kitu fulani, there are chatbox that you are chatting with the robot and things like that, as well as visual assistants. Why this attractive? AI is projected to add US dollars 15.7 trillions to the global economy by 2030s. Kwa hapa tunaweza kuangalia kwamba kuna a lot of opportunity katika hii industries. Kwamba kuna hiyo projections kufikia mwaka 2030 AI inategemea kuadd 15.7 US dollars trillions to the global economies. And in emerging niche, tunaangalia generative AI powered cybersecurity as well as AI in drug discoveries. Na hii ni study ambayo tunasema kwamba reference yake ni McKinsey ya mwaka 2023. Lakini tukiangalia nchi zetu ambazo bado tunaendelea, sijajua kwamba Tanzania tuna uwezo wa kutengeneza AI ya kwetu, kwa sababu ukiangalia AI nyingi zilizopo unazoziona it's either US or China. Those two countries ndio wanashindana kwenye development ya hizi AI na whatever. Lakini nchi nyingi ambazo sisi bado tuko nyuma, mara nyingi sisi tumekuwa ni watumiaji zaidi, sio developers. So there's a lot of opportunity on those area guys. So sehemu ya pili ambayo kuna a lot of opportunity ni agri-tech and the food innovations. Na hii inatuhusu sana sisi kwenye mambo ya chakula, ukulima na whatever. Kwa sababu tuna a lot of fertile lands in our country, and then na eneo kubwa la ardhi bado halitumiki. So tukiangalia opportunity ambayo iko kwenye agri-tech or agri-technology, kuna precious agriculture, lab growth meat, vertical farmings and the food waste tech. So tukiangalia kwamba kuna a lot of opportunity kwenye precious agriculture, kilimo ambacho ni cha kisasa zaidi, kwamba tutumie nyenzo za kisasa au tufanye green agriculture, green cultivations. Tuangalie lab growth meat, kwamba ukiangalia nchi za wenzetu mara nyingi kutokana na population, I can talk from based on China experience ambayo ndio nao kwa China, kutokana na population waliokuwa nayo kubwa sana, mara nyingi hata mifugo wanaotumia, nyama wanaotumia mara nyingi na ambayo imefugwa maabara, inakulia maabara, within just a few days wanaweza kupata chakula na whatever. Lakini kuna vertical farming, kwa mara nyingi sisi tunachofanya farming yetu hatufanyi vertical farming, tunafanya horizontal farming. So horizontal farming kwa tunalima kwenye ardhi, lakini sasa hivi kilimo kimebadilika, sio lazima ulime kwenye ardhi, unaweza kulima hata kwenye maji. Watu wanaweka juu chupa na whatever, anapanda mazao yake pale, anapanda mboga mboga na zinakuwa, anavuna na whatever, lakini sio lazima uwe na mchanga. Lakini pia tunaangalia kwenye food waste take, kwamba how do we manage the waste of our food. So tukiangalia kwamba sisi tuna a lot of loss kwenye post harvest, baada ya mavuno kuna vyakula vingi tunavyovipoteza pale. So lazima tuangalie the ways on how can we manage this situation of post harvest loss. So why these attractives? Tunasema kwamba rising food insecurity and climate impact are driving needs for tech enabled agriculture. Kwa kumekuwa na issue kubwa sana ya rising food insecurity. Kumekuwa na issue kubwa sana ya uhaba wa chakula huko tunakokwenda katika miaka hivi karibuni. And the emerging niche tunasema ni AI, ni crop monitorings as well as alternative proteins. And this a reference from food FAO mwaka 2022. Eneo la tatu ambao tunaweza kuangalia kwamba kuna lot of opportunity ni green energy and sustainability. Sasa hivi tunaangalia green energy, na mwaka juzi 2024 Mheshimiwa Rais alizindua sera yetu ya nishati safi. Tunasema kwamba clean energy, kwamba matumizi ya nishati safi majumbani. So tukiangalia opportunity iliyopo kubwa sana hapa, tuna opportunity katika upande wa solar, wind, EV infrastructure, energy storage and carbon capture. So matumizi ya solar, matumizi ya wind, matumizi ya EV infrastructure and the likes. Why these are much more attractive? Tunasema global energy transitions is driving investment in renewables. Kwa sasa hivi tukiangalia kwenye global energy transitions, kuna transition kubwa sana ya matumizi ya energy, ambapo tunaenda kwenye renewable energy. Renewable energy tunaenda kuangalia kwamba source ambayo inatokana na maji, ambayo inatokana na wind, ambayo inatokana na solar and the likes, and which is projected to reach $2 trillion annually by 2030s. So that's a lot of opportunity there as well at the third area. And emerging in niche hapa tunasema kwamba kuna clean hydrogens, battery recyclings and a bio-based plastic at the source of energy. The fourth ones, the health tech and the biotech. There's a lot of opportunity in this area as well. Opportunity ambazo ziko hapa tunasema ni telemedicines, wearable health device, genomics and the personalized medicines. While these are much more attractive, aging populations and epidemic driving digital health adoptions accelerating the growth. Kwetu sisi huku hatuna aging population kubwa sana, lakini nchi ambazo tunasema dunia ya kwanza, European countries, they have big issues ya aging populations. Na hata China very soon watakuwa na issue ya aging populations, kwa sababu baadhi ya zile nchi waliweka restriction kubwa sana katika uzao. Waliweka vikwazo vikubwa sana kwamba maana baadhi ya nchi uruhusiwi kuzaa mtoto zaidi ya mmoja, uruhusiwi kuzaa mtoto zaidi ya wawili, and then that situations becomes as part of the culture in those countries. So kama ilikuwa part of the culture, generation nyingine zilizofuata zote, whether mwingine anapata mtoto mmoja, mwingine hana mtoto, in such a way ukiangalia population kubwa walionayo wanaelekea katika uzee. Kama population wanaelekea katika uzee, na tunasema kwamba manpower is one of the capital of the country that should possess. Kama manpower inaelekea katika uzee, nguvu kazi inapungua. So kutokana na aging populations, kuna a lot of issues ambazo zinakuja, especially aging population and pandemic driven digital health adoptions ambazo zina accelerate growth and whatever. So our market size, tunasema health tech market expected to exceed $900 billion by 2032. This according to Global Market Insight 2024. And the reference, it is Statista in 2014. So the fifth one is fintech. Na kwenye fintech hapa tunaangalia financial technology. Hapa tunaangalia opportunity kwenye digital finance, DeFi, insurtech and the payment automations. Na tunaangalia kwenye digital finance, hata nchi yetu bado sasa hivi inapiga kelele sana kwamba tuachane na masuala ya kutumia cash, tuende kwenye cashless, kwenye digital bankings and the likes. Why these attractives? Tunasema fintech continue to disrupt legal financial institutions and enable financial inclusions. Growth, it has global fintech market size expected to reach 1.5 trillion by 2030. And well, we can take the fourth one. The fourth one is cybersecurity. And the opportunity which are there, the cloud security, zero trust architecture, ransomware protections, as well as cybersecurity for IoT. Why these attractive? Increased digitalizations and rising cyber threats make this a reasonable sector. Sasa hivi kumekuwa na issue kubwa sana kwenye mambo ya wizi wa mtandaoni. Kwetu huko tunawezekana tusiuone mkubwa sana, lakini zilizoendelea, this a big issue. Watu wengi sana wanapoteza fedha zao, watu wengi sana wanapoteza mali zao kupitia hii njia ya mtandao. So the issue of cyber security imekuwa ni one of the big issue, ambapo tunaangalia mambo ya cloud security, zero trust architectures and the likes. Na hiyo pia kuna a lot of opportunity on that. Inawezekana opportunity hizi zote kwetu huku sisi tusione kwamba zina muhimu, lakini tunasema kwamba we are not living in a village. We are part of the global weights. If we are part of the global weights, in one way or another, all these things will affect us in the future and not far away in the near future. So the sixth ones is on the part of space tech. Na tunaangalia kwenye space tech, tunaangalia satellite internet, Starlinks, Earth observation data, asteroid mining, as well as space tourism. And why these are attractive? Kuna lower launch cost and the private sector involvement have catalyzed the space economies. Na tukiangalia kama Cyberlink, kila siku tunalalamika na Starlink nchi yetu. Kwa nini Starlink wasiruhusiwe kutuletea internet ndani ya nchi? Kwa sababu it's much more cheap na whatever. Lakini hizo zote ni opportunity ambazo zipo kwenye space tech. Na inategemea pia kukua, expected market size kufikia 1 trillion by 2040s and the likes. And the lastly, tunaweza kuangalia kwenye education technology, EdTech. Opportunity iliyopo ni online learning platform, AI tutors and immersive learnings. Na tukiangalia online learning platforms like what Institute of Accounting Arusha is doing. So you guys now, you are learnings through online platforms. Mkisoma masters yenu sio lazima uwe physically na whatever. So hiyo ni fursa ambayo tunaweza kuiona kwamba duniani ipo na inakuja kwa kasi sana. And why this is an opportunity? Tunasema kwamba online learning platforms, AI tutor and immersive learnings, why is it attractive? Lifelong learnings and the remote education model are gaining mainstream adaptations around the world. And the growth EdTech market projections to reach $605 billion by 2027. Mwaka kesho tu hapo. And we need to evaluate venture opportunity in other industry for exploit, not to address the above. We can evaluate various venture. Tunaweza kuangalia sekta nyingine nyingi ambazo tunaweza kuona kwamba kuna fursa mbalimbali, especially kwenye nchi yetu. And from here, it's where I'm going to develop or to create your term paper. Very soon, I'll share with the CLRs over the weekends the paper that to do, specifically based kwenye haya mambo ya opportunities, but will be related to Tanzanians cases or Tanzanians context, as well as situations. So that makes today's class will end up there. We have discussed the 2 elements. We still have the 3 elements that will kind of finalize possibly the next week. If there's another question, guys, welcome, please.
Dr. Not Sizzle.
Okay, I'll share with us here. Thank you.
Dr. Joseph, Dr. Joseph, I'm sorry. So most of the ventures that you've mentioned here are tech-based. So for us to grow, we need to focus on tech. But outside of tech, are there any other ventures which are potential to us? For instance, let's look at the realities of our communities, the people that we live around, the people that we work with. We are very, very behind in tech, basing on the infrastructures that we have, the technology, and everything affects us. What ventures which are not tech-based that are potential in our communities?
Ashim, is that a question?
Yes, I was trying to brainstorm. This is not directed direct to you. Maybe if there is anybody here from the team can chip in on that.
Please. Your mic in a light ways and then you come again, please. Ashim?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, come again with your questions, please.
Okay. I was saying that in evaluating the ventures, pretty much all the ventures that you've mentioned here are tech-based ventures or tech-based opportunities. But looking at the reality of our people and our environment and our community, the current situation doesn't allow us to to go and get those opportunities based on the fact that the education is not supportive, the infrastructures are not supportive, the internet and everything is not supportive to the 80 to 70% of the people in Tanzania. So my question is to brainstorm together with the team, not necessarily you, Doctor. Apart from these tech-based ventures, what other ventures have potential in 30 to 50 years in Tanzania which are not tech-based, so that if we take these ideas and give them to the people in the field, in the community, in the villages, they can adopt to the opportunities? Are there any other ideas apart from these tech-based ventures?
Sure. That's a very nice. That's a very nice. You have raised a very nice issues, and that's where on my conclusive remark, I just commented that it's where we are going to do our term paper, apart from to study our Tanzanian context, to see what are the opportunities that can be exploited in the future, especially for the next generations. We still have maybe youth in this generation as well that you can exploit within 10 to 20 years to come, or within 5 to 10 years to come. So that means what I've explained there, they are much more tech-based. Yes, they're tech-based. Because now, due to disruption of the technology in the words, we cannot run away from the technology. So technology is driving the words totally, and then we cannot run away from it. If we cannot run away from it, it's an aspect that is taking place all over the world currently. So in such a ways, I'm going to develop your term paper that you're going to make analysis based on the Tanzanian context. Then you come out with your own evaluations on which opportunity do you see they have high impact in our country in the near future. Are we together, Shi?
Yes. I was a little bit skeptical, scared, because most of the examples that you've provided here were tech-based. So looking at our context, it could have been a little bit hard to answer that question. But because now you've told us to look at our context and our environment, I think we can answer well that question. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, please? Questions? Okay, if no questions, guys, we'll end up there today. Wish you all the best and enjoy your weekends. Let's meet next week, please. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye-bye, Doctor. Thank you.